Hey, Clint.
Yeah.
Do you know why pirates are pirates?
I'd like to know.
Because they are.
'Tis true. Well put.
Back at Snake Discovery, this is our third year here, but this time is different. This is the championship. This isn't they invited somebody and hopefully they show up. This is everybody won against somebody else. This is going to be the toughest year. I can't wait, but you're going to vote for just vote for me. Don't vote for anybody else. Even if Garrett pulls something out crazy and he starts taking limbs down from trees and starts deconstructing the building and taking car parts and putting it together, you still have to vote for me.
This year for the championship of the Snake Discovery Build-Off, same as every year, show up, talk to your friends, do the introductions for Snake Discovery's video.
These guys are gonna carry me the whole day.
We always do.
And then pick Survivor-style buffs out of a bag, which will decide if you're on Team Black or Team Green. I picked Team Black. I felt like my team were winners right out of the get-go. And the teams compete against each other in a survival-style challenge. The first stage of the challenge, you have to use these hooks to flip over snakes, and there's a code on the back which will unlock one of the 3 boxes. And then we have to use Zoom Ed water bowls and our mouths we decided to use to take water from one bucket to another bucket until a counterweight shows the next code on a flag. That code unlocks box number 2. The third stage is getting this ball up this windy snake, which we knew we had to just throw and let Cusco do because he was the master of the challenge. He was up to it, he won it for us, and we had all the codes before the other team. Team Black was off to the races, and inside the boxes were a series of letters, and the letters, when put together to spell the right phrase, make an arch, and once you've done that and take your hands off, that decides the winner.
1, 2, 3.
Next, a few of us hit all the pallets so Garrett couldn't use them to win.
Nobody puts Cusco in the corner.
That's true. I put myself there.
Nice feet. You're gonna sell this? What platform is this going on?
Something? I don't know.
And the winning team was put in a green box on the floor to wait further instructions from Emily.
As promised, you get first pick on a product to use in your build. Pick your first item and bring it back here in 3, 2, 1, go!
Hey, Adam.
Oh, wait.
My wood is bigger than your wood.
Hey, Dave, my wood is longer than your wood.
Your wood is flatter and Canadian.
I picked the big 6-foot by 2-foot Universal Rocks background. I thought it would really help cut down the time I needed, but we were told there was a twist, and we were all wondering if it was a Yankee swap situation, but when Team Green picked their first item, we were led back in the classroom, and that is when the twist was revealed. The twist was simple. Under a tablecloth was revealed a score of random items we had to incorporate in our build, and we couldn't bury them. They had to be visible in the build. Among these things, we had no idea how we would include them.
H for huge win.
Once we got our compulsory item, the mad dash started. We were counted down and we had to scramble to get all the good stuff before it was gone. There was only a few of certain items and we had to be the fastest to make sure we got what we wanted, including plants, substrate, lighting, and 1 fogger. The dash is done. All the items are there. Let's get building.
And now is the fun part, but the best part is I got the best piece of the whole build because I got this giant background, which is gonna save us so much time. So all we have to do is put it in, write it back up, figure out the sides, and then we have to scape the thing. We're gonna be done this thing in 2 hours. So we can go make fun of Garrett for the rest of the day. What are you? I just brought your tools back. I just want to make sure that you saw that.
And we just happen to have a camera in our hand when we brought the tools back.
Make sure that you know that your tools are back. The tough part here is we have to get this big giant piece in without getting foam all over the front of it, because then we're gonna have to cut it, cover it, and actually do some work instead of cheat our way through this entire process. So I'm gonna gently and peacefully and Canadianly put this in the best that I can. Is it a shake weight? Dave, have you started a painting company?
Yep.
And what's it called?
Dave is going out of business painting company.
That seems apropos, actually.
Apropos.
Yep. This year is the championship, which means it's the best of the best, or those of us who pander to subscribers more. But the true challenger is behind me in this blue tent. What he doesn't know is with my extreme height, I can look over top into the gaps and show you exactly what Garrett's doing, which I imagine is scrambling in the last 5 minutes, and that's a secret strategy. Of course, one of the most exciting things about the builds is learning what everyone's going to build for, and I just decided that I'm going to build for beetles, and I've got John, Paul, Ringo, and the other guy. It's 1980, apparently John's gone, but we got the rest of them here, and then we're not building for beetles, we're building for something a lot cooler. Hey, Cusco.
Hey,
Your enclosure looks like a real paint in the ass.
that's real nice, but I can't believe you're a professional comedian.
But I've got an idea for this that I think is really going to work. Also, I feel like I could spin it on my finger like a basketball. Let's go look for sticks. So, in the theme of things, now all we have to do is find some bricks, because we did find some sticks that we're going to use. And I think that this is kind of the most naturalistic thing that we're going to do, because we have all these universal rocks, all these cool things that we can use, but using actual Minnesotan sticks to recreate a Southeast Asian jungle, I think is the most realistic way that we're gonna pull this off.
Turns out a 9-foot stick doesn't fit in a 6-foot box. So let's go see Garrett the Tool Man.
Okay, I didn't see anything. I just don't even work, Garrett.
One of the most important things about any enclosure is adding depth to make it look nice and make it functional, especially for an arboreal species.
What you don't realize about the build-off is you're allowed to bring one personal item, but the personal item doesn't need to be an item, one thing. It could be a collection of things as long as it's in another thing. But inside this planter, there is a special thing that we found that I was not expecting to be there and definitely didn't plant there. And that's this pickle jar full of moss, which is so weird that it was just there, because pickles are like my favorite thing. So we're gonna use this maybe as a hide for one of this.
Pickles?
You don't need to know anything, Bob. It's secret.
I'm just really surprised that you brought a pickle jar.
I know, it's really off-brand.
Yeah.
And now what we're doing is sticking some moss pieces on the background with silicone, and then when the background is done, and then we get to do the fun part. We did take this big stick from outside, and we did put it inside the enclosure, and we screwed it in from both sides, and that way your colubrids or whatever you're gonna put in here aren't gonna fall down to their death. But now we're gonna go eat pizza.
One eternity later.
So we've done the hard part. Now it's kind of the fun part where you're gonna put substrate in, plant everything. The hard thing is now we have this big giant branch in the way, but what I'm hoping is we can add some depth to it, add some different levels, and it's not just gonna look like a branch in a box. I think the fun part about doing these things is all the plants, and all of us went gung-ho on plants. What we didn't do is we didn't get enough hardscape. So now we're in a position where I don't know how to escape this thing. It's gonna turn into a major problem, and we have enough sticks maybe, but we should have grabbed some cork or something. So now we're gonna be in a position where we have to make it look like it's not just a bunch of plants in a box.
When you need something to look natural, I sent Trish outside to go get some sticks. It's the best option. And then I started to plant plants in the best, most aesthetically pleasing way possible, but also leaving it so that the water droplets will accumulate, let the animals drink, and also make it functional so that smaller animals that don't weigh too much can use them as perches and not crush them. But the problem is, it still looks boring. It's missing something. I need a fogger. And luckily, Emily pulled two out of nowhere and said any of us could battle for them. All we had to do was pick the fastest bearded dragon up for adoption and make them race across the parking lot.
To get them across the finish line.
So don't touch them after they touch the ground, right?
Yes.
Unless you're resetting them to put
Yeah,
back
if
behind.
they go backward.
Back up.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna get you.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, counted.
Jeff, I
counts?
just watched the 100 meters.
All right, it says it counts.
Yeah,
Okay.
nose went across. There
I feel like a winner today. I got the Repti fogger. I feel like part of this contest is make everything look pretty, and if you add fog to things, it's like filming stuff in slow motion. It's like a life hack cheat that's not really cheating, and I feel like we're gonna film slow motion fog, and that's how we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Yep.
Did you tell me about your strategy?
Well, the strategy wasn't necessarily to look like we weren't ready compared to everybody else. That definitely was not the strategy. But it turns out that is the strategy.
What's your strategy to win the build-off this year?
I am making ribs that everybody will like.
That's a good strategy.
Isn't it?
I think you'll win the vote, actually.
At least the people here will win the
There you go. What's your strategy to win the build-off this year?
I'm just gonna claim the best enclosure as my own after everybody leaves, because then I can just kind of swap out the name and be like, Emily actually built this one.
So your strategy is just hope you don't run out of time.
Yeah.
pretty much.
We build this enclosure to be the show-stopping piece in your living room that everyone stops and looks at, but is also completely and totally functional for the animal you put inside. No gimmicks, no tricks, just the most beautiful functional enclosure that is actually going to work for your reptile with a misting system, with a fogger. It'll keep humidity absolutely perfectly. The lights go on and off in a dimming fashion to replicate the sun. We were trying for an enclosure that we would be proud to put any of our animals in, one that would fulfill all of its needs and yours too.
And now it's your turn to vote. If you think this is the best enclosure, go to the link below. Please do vote. I'd really have big plans because whoever wins this enclosure gets another big enclosure like the one you see right here. And I've got big plans for it. I think I could make the coolest enclosure you've ever seen, but I need your help to win it.
So now it's up to you. Voting is open right now. Link below. Please go vote for us. We really did try to make this the best enclosure for a person and an animal, which is what the best enclosure really is. Everybody did so well. I had so much fun with my friends. If you don't vote for me, just vote for the one you think is best.